Hello and welcome back to Asian Cinema Season 2 and what I've now decided to call Project Jackie. And I, in an ideal world, would have liked to have had this series run in chronological order, but it is completely out of order. I'm going to post these in the order of when I watch them, or when we watch them. So, jumping all over the place, we recently did Drunken Master, which was 1978, and not long after that, in 1980, Jackie Chan went to America for the first time in Battle Creek Brawl. Quite a nice cover, I think. In fact,
My painting looks more like him than that.
Yeah, I think that the likeness of Jackie is not that good on this one, even though I have two others that have not identical covers but the same artist, and they look a lot more like him. So that's interesting. Regardless, this is an '88 films release, just came out.
More like Bruce Lee.
It does look a bit more like actually it does look a bit more like Bruce Lee than Jackie Chan, and which is kind of almost fitting because I suppose when he did his first film in America, it was with the ambition of becoming the next Bruce Lee in a way, whether he wanted to or whether the producers did. I don't know. This was actually directed by the man who directed Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee, apparently, Robert Klaus. I have no idea if this was an American film, because it has an English version and a Cantonese and Mandarin version. So, original English mono audio track. So maybe the original version is English, and then they did Chinese dubs for the Chinese audience. So
I want to see the original
in English.
I want to see how it was originally filmed. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best bet. So obviously it's a story that takes place in America, 1980. Battle Creek Brawl. It is a weird name, but I just saw on the back it says that he did the action choreography, so that is always a plus. Well, you don't know. I mean,
why the hell would someone try and He should do it his own. Why would anyone try and make him do something they want him to do?
Well, because this is his first American film. Who knows? They might have brought him over and who's this guy?
Choreograph,
yes.
Yeah. Why would anyone try and choreograph him?
You've already said that now.
Yeah, but I couldn't get the word out.
Right.
I had to.
I don't know, but like I said, early on in his career, and as far as America goes, infancy. So, I'm going to check it out and see what it's like. Alright then. Okay, so this this song has been on the menu for like a few minutes and it's already bugging Connie. So we're gonna go with the English in the hope that it's the original version, but I really don't know. Okay, we are 55 minutes into Battle Creek Brawl.
Yeah, enough of that. I want to go to bed.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to tap out here actually, I think.
I say you finish it on your own.
I'll probably finish it in the morning.
Morning?
Oh yeah, I just want to go to bed. Honestly,
You don't get up early enough to finish it.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't start work until 11 tomorrow. Regardless, what a disappointment so far.
It's pretty bad.
Right, I think Connie's enjoying it a lot less than I am, but even then, I'm finding it hard to muster up the willpower to even continue. It's only an hour and a half, but story's all right. It feels like a proper 70s movie. There's the score, the vibe. It feels very low budget, and like not a lot of consideration and care has gone into the making of it.
The acting isn't great.
The acting isn't great.
The delivery is pretty bad, even the way it's been written.
Yeah, I don't know.
So many unnecessary scenes, I feel, or just exchanges.
But there is a part where Jackie Chan kind of wiggles his hips so that his pants fall down, and then hugs his girlfriend and said, "What does he say? Should we time for some nice nice?"
Let's do some nice.
Let's do some nice nice. This is apparently his actual first English speaking role, so you do hear his own voice in the film, and the fight scenes.
Not that good.
They're not that good. The first one was.
The best one was against those two Chinese guys.
Yeah, there was a fight scene on like a theater stage where he pulled out like his kind of almost his trademark bench. The little. That was good. That was a good little fight scene. But like even the first fight scene.
No.
Drama with the cats. Even in the first fight scene, he's fighting these like big bulky white dudes who just clearly have no form of athleticism whatsoever. And so the fights are just sluggish, and you get the sense of Jackie almost working at like quarter speed, and as if he hadn't even rehearsed it. There just doesn't seem to be a smoothness to a lot of it.
Like a quarter speed. I was thinking like, Jesus, is this how slow it usually is, and then they speed it up, or is
As
it
the
because it's taking it easy on the guys?
as the film's going on, the fight stuff is getting a little bit better and stuff, but and the story only really got interesting for me about like 40 minutes in, where he's gone to San Francisco. It's set in the 30s, and Jackie's character Jerry has gone to San Francisco.
It's in the 30s. That's why $25 isn't much.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
I was like, $25.
I know, yeah. There's this like this roller derby scene which was kind of cool, but went on way too long, and then.
No.
I don't know where it's set, but he goes to San Francisco to pick up his brother's wife to be, who they've kind of been pen pals, I suppose.
She's probably the best part in the movie. She seems genuine, like.
Right.
She seems like an actress.
But you've been falling asleep. That's not the real woman. The real woman got kidnapped, and so Jerry,
No, from
Jackie.
the beginning.
Oh, from the beginning. Okay, so you did see that bit. Anyway, so Jerry's future sister-in-law has been kidnapped by these guys who want Jerry to enter into the Battle Creek fighting tournament because they see he's a good fighter, and so they're basically holding her hostage for a few weeks so he will compete in this tournament for them, and they send a replacement woman with him back home to to kind of pretend to be his brother's fiance, because they've never met face to face. So it's a fairly decent story from that perspective, but just the execution of it so far just hasn't been interesting in almost every single way a film can be interesting. The only thing carrying it for me is the fact that it's Jackie Chan, and I like Jackie Chan, but even that, it's difficult. And Connie sat there pretty much with her eyes closed asleep at the minute, so yeah, I think I'm just, it sapped all my energy.
You talking about it is boring.
Just me talking about it is boring.
No. It was a waste. I'm not gonna get back.
You're not gonna get that hour back, no.
Nope.
But it is nice to see that sometimes your heroes and the people you admire aren't completely perfect, and
Burn that painting now.
you can go burn your painting. The heroes and kind of people you look up to or are big fans of are always fallible. Fallible, is that the right word? There's always kind of weak links in the armor, and this is certainly one of those for him, I think. I can't imagine the next 35 minutes suddenly turning around and being a great film.
You kidding? 20 minutes in, you know if the movie's bad or not.
Yeah, but a film can still have like a great last 30 minutes. I mean, it's possible.
Seriously, it opened badly. That first fight scene with that big white guy, I was just thinking.
I know. I said that. Yeah.
The best thing was him climbing up the thing. And I was thinking, okay, so it's going to
Yeah.
be Jackie Chan.
The scene
Woo!
opens with his first scene. He's climbing on this bridge, and it's kind of fun. That's about it, So yeah. All right. So I'll pick this up again once I've finished watching the film. Connie hates this.
The thing is, it's not the worst song in the world. It's just so fucking repetitive.
It's so repetitive.
And it was on for too long before we started watching it.
Alright, so it's a few days later. I was really putting this off. I said I was going to do it in the morning after. Never happened. I just was dreading coming back to this film, Battle Creek Brawl. I really liked the last 35 minutes, I have to say. I am quite a fan, I'm quite a sucker for, I should say, tournament fights in movies. You know, where it's like, right, we got all these guys, they're going to fight and there's going to be a winner. And you have like your preliminary fights and you're building up to the final. And that's exactly what you get in the last 30 minutes of this film. In Texas, the Battle Creek Brawl. And that's mainly the thing that drew me to it. It's just the title sounded cool. Like, it felt like a tournament kind of movie. But the first hour was just so... And he showed up at the end. Like, in those fights, in the actual Battle Creek Brawl, Jackie Chan was really good, as you would expect him to be. Not amazing, not his top-notch stuff, not Drunken Master level, or Police Story level, or Project A level, or Drunken Master 2 level, not even City Hunter level. It was, I feel like he was limited by the film that he was on. Perhaps the time they had wasn't sufficient to rehearse all of those sequences, but it just seems different from person to person that he's fighting and working with on how good the choreography is and how much effort he's putting in. Like, sometimes it really does seem like he's working at half speed, where it just looks like they're rehearsing it. You know, where like he'll go to kick someone and they move, and it's so slow, it just doesn't seem real. Not that a lot of the stuff he does, well, I guess some of the stuff he does seem real. Bit of a tongue twister, but you know, it's like, it's almost like in wrestling when someone picks someone up on their shoulders and then you hear them go, "Okay, you ready?" You know, Ronda Rousey, John Cena, and you're like, "Oh, that takes me out of it." And that was kind of what some of the fight scenes in this were like, where it's just so slow you can just see it being telegraphed as it's happening. And the actual Battle Creek Brawl is this kind of a weird tournament. Like, it starts with everyone in an all-out, like, and it's all like no disqualification, like, just do whatever you want. It's a street fight basically, and they put everyone in the same fight for like 5 minutes until the bell tolls, and then whoever's left standing will go on to actually be in the tournament. So like, you got all these big dudes who must have been like 80s, 70s wrestlers by their physiques and the way that they were dressed, and it is actually a lot like wrestling, the way that they're kind of like, the staging of it, like the punches and the clubs across the back, full Nelsons, like it's real 80s style of wrestling, and I kind of really enjoyed that, even though it was very hokey and not all that convincing. But Jackie Chan's fights, Jerry, were pretty fun, and it was all building up to him fighting, is it Billy the Kiss? The guy who kisses his opponents as he's about to kind of choke the life out of them. And he was fun, he was a good little heel, you know, and they seem to go back and forth in the crowd, booing him, and then, yeah, Jerry, kiss, 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 boo, and then they're booing him again. And the sound design in some of these fight sequences is awful. Like, at times it feels like you're not even there, because the sound is so like tinny and distant that it doesn't seem like it's really bad at times. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is, and the sound in general is all over the place. And that was distracting, but I liked the final fight. It was a bit convoluted when Jerry couldn't fight properly because his uncle was kidnapped, and so he's just like, "Oh, looking around, where's my uncle? Where's my uncle?" And he's getting his ass kicked. And then there's a convoluted sequence where his uncle is tied up to this what do you even call it? This banister railing in like a courtroom, and then he breaks out of it and he gets to the top of the bell tower and he's like, "Jerry, I'm okay. Now you can fight." And he's like, "Oh," and then he just starts fighting, and it's just like, the tension was built up well, but it just seemed like a really weird game plan from the bad guys. And that whole subplot where Jerry went to meet his brother's fiance, and she was kidnapped and replaced with a fake one, like, that just seemed to really disappear, to the point where he's doing this tournament to have his brother's fiance released from, you know, captivity. What am I talking about? Words just fail me. He's doing the tournament. I'll just have to redo that. So Jerry, how do I naturally segue back into this thing? The whole thing where Jerry's what would you even fucking call it related to him? His future sister-in-law to be. So this whole plot line where Jerry's brother's fiance has been kidnapped, replaced with another woman because these guys want Jerry, to be in the tournament so that he can win. I'm not sure why. And then there's even dissension between the kind of the mob bosses as well, which wasn't really developed very well. And then by the end of the movie, it's all about Jerry winning the tournament. Yeah, and I'm like, well, what about the woman who was like, kept hostage? And then like there's just a quick cutaway shot where the bad guy's like to Jerry, "Oh, we'll go to Chicago, take care of everything." And Jerry's like, "Okay, great." And then that's the end of the movie. Like, it just quickly becomes nothing as far as the actual plot goes, and really it's just all about him winning the tournament. So they should have just made it about him wanting to enter the tournament and win, to win the money for his brother's clinic. Like that would have been, I don't know. I guess you need to have bad guys involved, but it was just a bit of a, again, convoluted story. But I actually really liked the last 30 minutes, I have to say. But ultimately, it's not a very good film. It feels very slapped together, really. I mean, there's...
Did you think it was nice?
Like, that term "nice" came up again in the last half of the film. Like, let's do some nice. Like, no, that's just no. I don't like.
It sounds like a kid saying it.
It sounds like, oh yeah, oh.
It's such a turn off.
Oh, it does sound like a kid saying it.
Let's do some nice.
Yeah, which makes it so much creepier and weird and yeah, just
trying to be cute.
Trying to be cute, yeah, just grimy. Like, ugh. Anyway, so
He's actually saying no to.
Battle Creek Brawl, yeah, that was the ending really saved it. I enjoyed the tournament sequence at the end, which is essentially the last 30 minutes. Yes, he did.
Was he Jackie Chan again?
Yeah, he was doing like backflips and stuff, and there's some really cool bits of innovation here and there. Again, nothing. I'm kind of repeating it now because you're listening, but I've already said it. Definitely shades of his good stuff, but the first hour, just so boring. And the first hour is just setting up this story that by the time you get to the tournament doesn't really matter anyway. So it's just like, what was the point? I felt like they could have, if they're going to do that whole storyline of the woman being kidnapped and replaced with someone else, they could have used that for more comedy or something, and they just didn't really. But yeah, based on the first hour, I was ready to stick this straight on eBay, but I will keep it now because I did really enjoy that last half an hour. I would watch that again. And there's loads of interviews on there, and it is kind of, not an important, but a notable part of his career, where it was his first English-speaking role and American movie. And I could definitely feel, don't know whether it was him doing it or whether they wanted him to do it, it felt a little bit Bruce Lee towards the end, like the way he was fighting and the style. And again, it's the director who made Enter the Dragon, so I can kind of see. But it's nowhere near as the level of a film like Enter the Dragon, but that's neither here nor there. So there we go, another Jackie Chan movie done. Hopefully the next one we pick will be
something that we both finish.
Something that we both finish, and something that Connie will, not completely tap out on. I really do think you would have enjoyed the last 30 minutes, but at the same time,
I don't want to risk that.
But at the same time, I wouldn't. It's not good enough for me to go, hey, come and watch this again, So it kind of is what it is. So there we go. A bit of a dud overall, but I think that really saved it the last 30 minutes, and I feel bad now because I totally judged the movie on that first 55 minutes.
Well, when are you supposed to judge it? It's
True.
ridiculous.
True, but I mean,
if you watch a movie for 20 minutes and you genuinely dislike it.
I didn't dislike it as much as you, and that's the thing. Connie doesn't like mafia movies, and it is set in the 30s.
I didn't care about the mafia thing. That was not the problem at all. I said when we were watching it, it was the story. It was the writing, the line delivery, the acting. His fighting wasn't nearly. Yeah. Wasn't even like 20% what he usually does. There's
a really cool move at the end he does where he does like a backflip over the guy and kicks him in the back of the shoulder. And again,
it's boring and it was a little bit cringe.
Cringe? In what sense was it cringeworthy?
With the line delivery and how off everything was, and the way he was fighting, it was very staccato. It was just...
I feel like a lot of it felt off, like just even like the soundtrack very repetitive, it's the same thing repeated, and again I've already mentioned it I think, and I don't want this to get even longer, but yeah, it is what it is. You know, I would say if I was rating it out of 5 after the first hour, I'd be on like a 1.5 out of 5. Now I'd probably go up to 2.5 out of 5. Possibly even 3 out of 5, just because I really did enjoy all the fights at the end, and I do like that kind of tournament style of, yeah, it's enjoyable to me, so it kind of sold me a bit more on the film towards the end. But anyway, there we go, that's it, thanks for watching, see you in the next one, and let's hope it's a much more successful viewing.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause